Faith. Business. Legacy. Welcome to Strategies for Success.
Hey guys, and welcome back to season 2.
Yep, good to be back, guys. I'm Tyler.
I'm Travis. We are so excited. We didn't know what this was going to look like, and me and Tyler have been doing some strategic planning, and we are ready to get back going. And we hope you're ready to get back going with us. So, first episode here, we want to talk about narrowing our focus. And we believe this is key to success. As me and Tyler were doing our planning and getting ready, I was reminded of our Maxwell leadership training. And for many years, I don't know why this was in my mind, but for many years, I felt like that business was business, family's family, spiritually wise, that ministry's ministry. But I didn't see how these all fit together. And I kind of kept them segregated. And maybe that's just me. But when we went through the Maxwell leadership training, he said something that was I guess it just really stuck out to me. He said, my faith is what drives my business and my family comes first. And so I just thought, you know what? I want to get my focus where everything is driven by what I'm passionate about, which is my faith and my family. And I want to share how that has led into business and ministry success. And so me and Tyler got to talk and we said, that's it right there. Faith, business, legacy, right? And our family is part of our faith.
Yeah, last year it was a learning experience for us for sure. We decided early last year that we wanted to try to do a podcast. We were kind of reflecting on this as we started the second season here, talking about it's pretty awesome that we were able to accomplish that and keep it going into next year. But with all that, we were a little bit all over the place. It was kind of hard to figure out what we wanted to do, which direction we wanted to take it. But as we got further and further along, we noticed our episodes, the earlier ones were more like leadership, business kind of related, and then we kept shifting a lot of topics, even the conversation on the business lessons, they kind of kept shifting towards the faith side of things. And so, like Travis said, we're trying to, instead of keeping those separately, just kind of merge them together. And I think a lot of it goes back to our identity as Christians, our identity in Christ. You can't really... It's not like you take your coat off at the door and leave it when you walk in somewhere. It is who you are, and so that affects how you operate at all times. So keeping that in mind with the business and the legacy part of things, you can't really do all that without the faith. So we're just narrowing down, making sure that we make those 3 topics known in every episode.
Faith, business, legacy. That's our theme for 2026, and I'm super excited to be on here sharing this with you. And as you guys have probably figured out, we're not professional podcasters. We're 2 guys.
Far from it.
Exactly. And we're 2 guys that are heavily involved with ministry, with boys ministry. Our faith means everything to us. Our family means everything to us. And our businesses are family businesses. And so we wanted to share that with you. And we set a goal in 2024. I remember setting out in our shop in 2024, and I was talking to Tyler, and they said, hey, let's get a podcast together. And I'm just doing this as a quick look back. But remember our first equipment, Tyler?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Yeah, we had
was.
Bought a cheap kit from Amazon. What was it? Less than $100, like $50 for the whole setup. And we thought, we'll just give it a try, see if it'll really go anywhere. We got it out of the box, tried it, and I think there was 2 or 3 things that broke. Well, actually, didn't you have to return stuff several times before we finally even got it in working condition? And then once we got it in working condition, it was pretty low quality. So even though we had just the low quality stuff, I think both of us realized pretty quickly this is going to be a lot of fun if we do it. So we decided to get a little better quality equipment, and we're super happy that we did it. And we've had a lot of fun. We're looking forward to this season coming up.
So we set a goal, and that's what we hope you're doing. We're trying to live out what we're saying as well. And so like when we give a challenge, we're trying to do those challenges. We don't always get them done. We don't always live up to what our goals are, but that's the key is we want to narrow our focus, set the goals, and try to accomplish them.
And I mean, you think about anything in your lives, guys, if you if you say, I want to eat better, but you don't really say how you're going to do it, or if you say, I want to grow my business, but you don't think of practical ways how you can do it. I went to a meeting here recently, and they made us make 3 goals, and then who was accountable for those goals, and how would you achieve those goals. And to me, that really stuck out, thinking that's getting very specific, and that's kind of the whole philosophy behind this. Is we're trying to get more specific and be more useful, give you guys more useful information.
We're challenging you to do the same thing. I mean, we started out last year with a goal to do a podcast, and we didn't know how long this would last, but we completed the whole year with 35 episodes. Our goal this year is 40 episodes. We have them lined out. Each month is themed, and we want to share that with you. We're starting off with defining and narrowing our focus, and next week we're going to be covering defining and winning correctly. And so we want to keep that theme on for the month of March and just continue growing with that. So we hope that you're growing along with us. As we were narrowing our focus coming back from a lot of this business training and the leadership training, I sat down for a minute and I thought, what do I enjoy doing? What is my passion? And that's one thing they brought out at the Maxwell leadership, is that do what you're passionate about. That don't mean go start a new job. So I just thought about it, man, what in my job am I passionate about? And I wear many hats as the boss.
I heard something the other day that somebody said, if everybody did what they'd love for a job, there'd be a lot of unemployment.
Exactly.
So you're not going to get to do your dream job necessarily, but there's every job has certain aspects of it that you maybe don't love everything, but there's a lot of stuff that you will like, and just narrowing in on that and focusing on that.
Yeah. And what I discovered is I like working with marketing. I like the big idea. I like having kind of the vision, and I like the speaking and leadership part of it. And I thought to myself, here I am doing these trainings for ministry, and I'm going out and showing guys how to do this, to have exciting boys ministry programs to lead boys to Christ. And I'm not doing it in my own. And I guess felt a little bit of conviction. And so for 2026, we're actually launching a training for our employees, because we want to invest back into our people.
Yeah, and kind of going with that, I mean, teaching other people, younger people, or maybe somebody that's new at the job or ministry, whatever, it goes a long way. I know training's not necessarily for everybody, but it's something that Travis and I both enjoy, and that's something that we realized we're both good at it, we both enjoy it, and we're going to kind of focus on that moving forward and kind of play off of our strengths.
We're excited that we're going to be launching a website here in the month of March, and there's going to be some training and some input from you guys, and we hope that you'll check it out. We'll be telling you as soon as we're ready to launch that. That's coming up here probably the next 30 days. And we just want you guys to think about it this week as you're listening to the podcast. How can I narrow my focus? How can I get on point? What are the goals? If you think about it, there's probably 100 things that you'd like to do, but narrow that down to what is going to help move you closer to your goals. What's going to help me accomplish what I need to accomplish? And I encourage you to do that as a family, and then do it with prayer and find out, what is God wanting for my life, and where is this going to be best for my family, and start working on those goals. Tyler, you had a verse for us, didn't you?
Yep. So this verse kind of goes along with what we're talking about today. It's found in Hebrews 12, verses 1 and 2. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne.
That's exactly what I want to do. I want to drop the weights in 2026.
We all have a lot of stuff that, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
We all have a lot of stuff that slows us down.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And when it slows us down mentally and physically. And if you're going after what our goal and what our focus is in our life, again, we want that to be triggered by our faith, with our family and with our business, and what kind of legacy that we're living. Me and Tyler were talking today. We don't want to be known for being the #1 tractor salesman in the world when we're on our deathbed or when we're gone. We want to leave a legacy that impacts eternity.
Yeah, and I like reading about a lot of business owners and a lot of people that kind of shook up the industry that they're in, but a lot of times they're not really remembered for the business side of things. They're remembered for the people that they impacted, the stories that, people remember of the person, not their numbers.
Exactly. Exactly. You think about this, there's not going to be a big corporate company that's going to be like, wow, we remember that guy for years, based on his performance. But I will tell you, sharing your faith and taking time to be with your family, and then when you're at work, taking time to get to know the people that you work with and truly caring about them, that is what's going to leave a legacy. I heard a guy say that, if you want to be successful, you make sure your people are happy and your people at work will take care of your business. And that's what I want to do. So Tyler, we want to start with faith.
Yep. So faith. So we've always had the challenges at the end of every episode. This season, we're going to try something a little bit different. We're playing into the faith, business, and legacy. And I know we're saying it a lot, but maybe it'll stick with you if we say it enough.
Well, that's what we're trying to help you narrow your focus.
Yeah.
That's what we want to focus on.
Faith, business, and legacy. So we're going to have kind of a 3-part challenge with each episode. And ultimately, one of the big things about this whole podcast is we're all trying to grow together, get better together. So that's the end goal here. So for the faith part of the challenge, ask God what he has truly called you to carry this season. What do you think it is that God's called you to do? What can you go do right now? You can make an impact tomorrow. What is it that God's called you to do right now?
That might be, helping the guy that's down on the street corner that says, "Hey man, I need $1 for lunch." That might be helping your brother that you work with. That might be just encouraging your spouse or your family. I mean, you think about it. It could be walking across the street and taking a thank you card or delivering some groceries to a neighbor. It doesn't have to be this big thing to impact the world.
Yep. For the business section of it, identify one distraction and eliminate it this week. So we all have some sort of distraction. It could be something small, it could be something big, but there's a lot of times where, if you really think about it, there's all sorts of distractions throughout your day that cause you from being productive and achieving your goals that you set out to do that day.
A lot of times they are have an apple on the back and they sit in the palm of your hand.
Exactly.
So if you look at how many hours you've had on screen time, just trying to say there's one of the distractions if you can't think of one.
Mm-hmm. And for legacy, delegate one responsibility and develop someone else. So we spoke about this a little bit as far as training and fostering growth with other people, showing them, sharing lessons that you've learned. A lot of times we all have to learn lessons the hard way sometimes. And so if we can share that with other people so that they don't have to go down that road, it's ultimately helping them and you can help them grow as a person.
Go ahead, Tyler.
And delegating responsibility to them. I know we've seen it with our boys ministry in particular. That's a big thing, is delegating responsibility to some of the older boys, and then they in turn delegate responsibility from someone younger, and it just kind of keeps going down the chain. But having someone, giving them some responsibility to help you pass out snacks or even carry something for you, or to even teach something that you're teaching, that help them to, or give them the responsibility of helping show the other boys how to play a game. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff, but that's really hit home with me, seeing that in action with, sometimes you can just ask them to carry something outside for you and they really just light up, seeing that they have a responsibility and that you value them enough to ask for their help.
As I felt like I was starting to work with the state, doing boys ministries, I didn't know where that was going to go, and you have all this panic of what's going to happen if I get out of the way, because I really appreciate all the boys that we work with in our church, and I'm friends with these guys, and I've watched them grow. And Tyler, he's there with me every week, and it took me probably 6 months longer than it should have, but when I finally sat down and had a little chat with our pastor and said, "Hey, listen, I feel like this is the path that God's leading me," and I stepped out of the way. It wasn't my job to find somebody. And about 2 weeks went by, and Tyler said, "Hey, pastor, come and talk to me about leading this boys ministry program." And I just, getting out of the way and watching the guys with Tyler and the boys have just stepped up to the occasion. And I'm just so proud to be part of that. And I think that's where, a lot of the just happiness and pride and success doesn't come from anything I did, but it comes from seeing the people underneath me growing and coming up.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Tyler,
And legacy. You want to share a little bit about Vernon? I think that'd be pretty cool.
yeah. So leaving that legacy, one of the guys that had helped us for years, Vernon, he had at first he was probably in his mid 80s and his wife had passed away, and I didn't know what this was going to look like, but Pastor had encouraged me many times to go ask Vernon about helping with boys ministry. I thought, man, these boys are going to drive him nuts, and how am I going to communicate? There's a huge age gap. And when I went and talked to him, he said, you know, he actually teared up, and then I teared up, and he said, I felt like God was done with me, but I told God if he wasn't done with me, just to send me something to do. And he goes, that was been a week ago, and now you're asking me to be part of this. I'll absolutely be part of it. Yeah. And I'd went to church with this guy for years, but, you know, I really didn't know him. And when he came upstairs and started working, it was more than him being able. It was he was available to help. And he came upstairs. I found out he was a pilot. He had built an airplane. He built black powder rifles and knives. And I mean, he did leather work, all kinds of stuff. And for about 2 to 3 years, he was able to work with the boys. And it's sad to report this, but about a month ago, Vernon passed away, but he left a legacy. And I see it every week. We have a tomahawk hanging in our outpost that says Vernon on it, of that legacy mark that he left just from being available to speak into those boys' lives.
That's awesome. That's great example of legacy right there for sure.
Give them a quick rundown. It's on the FBL there.
The FBL. So faith, ask God what he has truly called you to carry this season right now. Business, identify one distraction and eliminate it this week. And for legacy, delegate one responsibility and develop somebody else.
So guys, you've heard the challenge, and now it's time.
Now it's time to execute.
Strategies for success. We lead, we build, we bless. Faith in the fight, a vision inside. And legacy is our quest. Strategies for success. With courage we invest. Faith, business, legacy. That's our strategy for success.